Hi guys, so today I have a review for you, and I decided to make a video review because I didn't know if I could get my jumbled thoughts out properly just typing it on the blog. So I decided that I would do this YouTube review and link it to both. And the book that I'm reviewing for you today is Flawed by Cecelia Ahern as part of the blog tour for this. It's going on at the moment, so check out all the other people's posts if you can. I'll try and link them on the blog if I can find them all. So yeah, this is Cecelia Ahern's first young adult book. She's a well-acclaimed adult author, but this is her first foray into young adult, and I was very kindly offered the chance to read it. And I have to say I was intrigued. I've not checked out a lot of Cecelia Ahern's other books, but I know people that are fans, so it's not an author that I'm unfamiliar with, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and it's not a contemporary story either, which I thought would be something that she would do, a little bit like Sophie Kinsella. Sophie Kinsella. Her first young adult book was a contemporary, which you kind of expect because she writes, you know, chick lit, adult, contemporary sort of romance, funny books. So you kind of expect her to do the same thing, but in a YA format, which is what she did with her book Finding Audrey. But this is something a little bit different. It's actually a dystopian, which came a bit out of the blue. I wouldn't have expected that. Now, I'm not the biggest dystopian reader, but I've read my fair share. So yeah, I was definitely intrigued. First off, the cover. I kind of like both covers for this, the UK and the US. I don't have a copy of the US to show you, but if I can do some editing magic, maybe I can insert a picture here. But I do like both. I like that this one has the pop of orange to it. It's kind of like a greyish, bluish overcast, and then it has these pops of orange, which I really like. Really like the simple spine as well, the pop of orange there. And I like that the back has the F symbol, which is a massive part of this story. And I like that we have a girl here that adequately describes our protagonist, with like this overlay of the F on her there. So I really like this cover. The US one, I like that it's so white. I think it's quite striking, but I think I prefer this one. So like I say, this is a young adult dystopian, and if you're seeing this on the blog, I'll have already put up a synopsis, so it will be there. But I'm going to read you this little bit at the back, which is a little bit of it's a small quote from the character, which is Celestine, and it's, "I am definitely in shock. I must be. I cannot fathom how I can be here. I can't be flawed. I can't be flawed. I am perfect." So basically, in this dystopian world, it's a world, basically, it's very recognisable as our own world. There's no real futuristic vibe to it. It feels like it could be happening kind of now. As far as I'm aware, I didn't pick up on any actual dates in this book, so I don't know when it's set, but like I say, it feels very much now. There doesn't seem to be any great leaps in technology or anything like that. And in this world, there was a recession, like a banking crisis, again much similar to our own, and in the wake of this crisis, something called the Guild has basically arisen, and it's an organisation that kind of polices the nation and basically judges people's decisions, and if you're found to have made a bad decision or have lied or are a bad character or something like that, you're deemed flawed, and basically you're branded and you have to follow different rules from the rest of society. So basically everyone can recognise you. You have to wear an armband. Depending on your misdemeanour, you could be branded in different places. So if it's a bad judgment, you're branded on your temple. If it's because you've lied, it's your tongue. If it's... oh, there's several. There's another reason if it's the foot. If you step out of line or something, it's the foot. And if you show disloyalty, it's over your heart. So lots of different places that you can get branded. And when I mean branded, I mean you're branded with a poker, like a hot iron, and you're branded for life. So it's quite a simplistic dystopian. I wouldn't say there's anything particularly difficult about it. It's quite straightforward. I kind of both like it and dislike it for that. There's not any massive elaborate world building. It's not this great big setup, which in a way I like, because it's very straightforward, very easy to read, very easy to understand what's going on. But on the other hand, we've had some fantastic dystopians, and not just dystopians, but like fantasies and sci-fis in the young adult world that have fantastical worlds around them. You only have to look at something like The Hunger Games or Divergent that have these worlds to them that they're different from our normal societies, and that they're so different, and they have very kick-ass characters. It's very diverse. There's a lot of stuff going on. This one felt very different to that, in that because it just felt very simple. It felt like it could be happening now. So like I say, for that reason I quite liked it. But if we're judging it as a dystopian in the dystopian young adult literature world, then I don't think it quite matches them, but it doesn't have to. So you see what I mean? If we're judging it the same, then it doesn't match, but at the same time we don't have to put it in that category. The main character, at first I didn't like her one bit. When I started to read this, I quite struggled. I didn't think that I was going to be able to read it because the main character really bothered me. She's very naive, very gullible, believed everything. But then that is a result of her society, but at the same time it's still very irritating to read. When you can't gel with that character, it really does mess up your reading experience. And even though we shouldn't have to like a main character to enjoy a book, it goes a long way in helping it. But an incident happens with this character where she is deemed flawed. That's not a spoiler, I think we can agree. And she turns out to be quite a unique case. And I started to root for her, and I started to really feel for her. She goes through some very awful experiences, and my heart did go out to her, bless her. So I did overcome that, and I started to enjoy it so much more, and it started to become much more readable to me. I was reading huge chunks of it at a time. I really wanted to know what was going to happen. And basically this one it was a slow builder for me, but I still really, really enjoyed it at the end, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens next. I'm heavily invested now in the story, particularly at the end of this. Basically the process of Celestine's branding, the judge that basically did it, he's now running scared from her because of her branding. It wasn't orthodox. It wasn't done how it was done, should have been done for procedure, because he's got his own agenda, and now he's scared that it's all going to come out, and she has to find the proof to bring him down. So I'm really wanting to see that. I'm wanting to see him get his comeuppance, and I really am looking forward to the next installment, which doesn't come out until next year, and it's called Perfect. But I'm really wanting to see where the story goes. I'm really rooting for Celestine. There could be a potential love triangle going on. There isn't yet, but it could be leading that way, which would be something that would upset me, because I'm not the biggest fan of love triangles. But we'll see how it goes, see what happens. Let's not judge it yet, Erin, before it's out. Basically, if you're a die-hard dystopian fan, this is going to go one of two ways. Either you're not going to think that it's as exciting or as amazing as some other dystopians that you've read, or you're going to love it, because even though it's kind of simplistic, I kind of enjoyed it for that. It was an easy read, an easy and dystopian to read, and I think it could easily be built upon in the next instalment. I would recommend reading it if you are a fan of dystopian, or if you've wanted to read a dystopian, say like The Hunger Games, say like Divergent, but they're too hyped up for you, you're not sure if it's a genre for you, but it's something maybe that you want to try, I would say try reading Flawed. See if it sort of piques your interest, because it was a really good read for me, and I actually, when I started reading it, like I say, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much when I started it, but I've come away from it actually really enjoying it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube or on my blog, there is a giveaway. Unfortunately, if you're watching it on YouTube, you have to go to my blog to enter it, because it's a raffle copter, but you can basically enter to win a copy of Flawed, and a goodie bag. Unfortunately, it's UK only. I'm sorry, guys. But if you're interested, like I say, head on over to my blog and enter the giveaway. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon. Happy reading.